Hi Facebook, happy Sunday. Hope everyone's had a great day, a great Sunday. Today is the first episode live interview with Amazing Human #1. So I'm going to be interviewing Chris Strub. As soon as I start to see that people are in here and I can see him, I will invite him in. I'm so excited. Hopefully this is the first of many interviews. It's gonna be fun. Oh, there he is. Hi, Chris. You ready? Okay, let me know when you're ready. I will invite you in. No worries, let me know. I'm gonna invite a bunch of people here. In the meantime. Hi everyone, thanks for coming. Like usual, live video, but today is different. I'm doing an interview with Amazing Human #1, Chris Strub. Hopefully this is going to be the first of many. I'm pretty excited about this series and doing live interviews. Okay, share it out if you want, that would be great. We're just waiting on Mr. Strub. Hopefully he has good enough Wi-Fi to chat. Hi, Jen. I'm excited to do many of these. And I already have a pretty big queue of people who I want to write about as amazing humans, but every time I go to write a new one, someone new kind of comes along and I'm like intrigued, and if I'm feeling inspired by them, I just write about them. So don't feel bad if I haven't written about you yet and you think you're an amazing human, because I have tons of them in my life and I'm just slowly getting through all of you. But when I feel inspired by a certain person, I write about them, just because you write your best when you're feeling it in the moment, you know what I mean? So share this out. Still waiting on Chris here. Hopefully his Wi-Fi is good enough. I feel like I'm leaning. I need to elevate my thing here. Hold the phone. Let's move some friends. Okay, hang on, Chris. Alright, that's better. This is so cool. I think that this whole thing is so great. Hi, guess. What's going on here? Ooh, connecting. Hi!
Hi!
Yay!
So you can see me okay?
I can see you perfectly.
Perfect.
All
How
good?
are you?
I'm good.
Oh
How are
yeah,
you?
I'm good. I'm good. A lot going on this weekend for sure. But I'm wonderful, and I'm so glad we finally get to do this. We've been talking about this for like weeks.
Me too. Yes. Finally get this ball rolling.
And let me just clarify, it's 100% my fault that this has taken forever. I'm so sorry. I am the worst.
Not really.
I am the worst first amazing human ever. I
No.
feel so bad.
You're amazing, but you kind of suck.
I do. I don't think anyone would dispute that.
So, for anybody who's watching that doesn't know who you are, give your spiel.
Oh man, spiel. So I'm this guy on Snapchat. That's how Bree and I met, and I've been on the Snapchat Lounge, of course, back in the day. That was fun back on Blab. Um,
Yeah.
Before that, I took a trip around the country and I volunteered with different youth organizations in every state. I wrote about it in this book. It's called 50 States, 100 Days, the book. Bree was one of the first probably 5 people to read the book, which is so amazing and wonderful. And I can never say thank you enough to her for doing that. And now what am I now, Bree? I don't even know what I am now. I'm sort of a traveling social media consultant. I did some work with Humana last year.
Yep.
I'm recovering right now as I ran a half marathon and a 5K this morning, so that was exciting. And I'm technically kind of stranded here in Pennsylvania because my car got a flat tire this afternoon. I was expecting to be back on Long Island, and now I'm here in this beautiful Days Inn in Pennsylvania. So
Brutal.
that's about it, I guess.
Did they like, because it was more than just you got a flat tire, so like your rim, like did they figure that out or?
I got a severe flat tire. I ran over the biggest pothole of all time, and it actually, as Bree said, it bent the rim. So if you watch my Snapchat story, you'll see it. It was pretty gnarly.
Ugh.
But because everything is closed, because it's a Sunday, I got to kind of wait until tomorrow to figure out whether or not they need to order one, which would leave me here until Wednesday,
Oh
uh,
God.
or if they have one at a junkyard. So just a lot of things going on this weekend, but yeah, all things are good. It's all good. No
All
worries.
good. So let's talk about your journey, because that's like, I think that that's your main thing and like what you're doing now, and it all encompasses who you are as a person and like the amazingness and why I wrote about you to begin with. But like, why did you travel to all 50 states?
Um, I worked up in Binghamton for about 11 years out of college, and at one point I really kind of decided that I wanted to try and have a bigger impact on the world. Is really the bottom line. That I knew that inside my heart and in my soul, I had it in me to uh, we see so many bad things on the news, so many, murders and catastrophes and genocides and all this stuff. And I decided I wanted to try and do something that was equally impactful on the complete opposite side of the radar. That I wanted to go out and do something awesome that people would talk about and it'd be memorable and it would be interesting and exciting and thought provoking and get the conversation going um, about nonprofits. And I've talked about the why, and I could probably answer that question 1,000 different ways. But really, my biggest goal was to provoke conversation about different organizations, volunteer opportunities, and particularly youth-related organizations. And what's really, really been special, especially since the physical book came out, and I know Bree read the ebook last year, is that we are provoking those conversations. I'm seeing people tweet to me and Instagram message me and Snapchat me and say, yeah, I read the book and now I'm going to go do this. And I never knew about this organization and I never knew that this sort of thing existed. Now I'm looking at it in my community. So all of these things that I was hoping for are happening. There, maybe things don't happen as quickly as you anticipate them to right off the bat, but um, I'm really excited to see that people are getting an opportunity to really take in the book and take in those stories and apply them to their own lives. Was that long-winded enough? Where you gotta, you'll learn this with interviews. You gotta learn to cut me off at
No, I
some
think that's
point,
perfect.
or,
No,
or
people
I'll
were
just
just
keep going.
asking if we can see their comments, so I was trying to like nonchalantly answer them, but it's so hard like to type on the screen sideways.
Yes, yeah. So I can see people's comments too, and look at all these people that are here: Bonnie and Josh and Andrea, Joe Miller and Rose and George and Carla. Oh my goodness, and Blake is here. So
Wow.
like, wow, like it's
I love
so
you all.
awesome. And we've both been saying this for a long time, Bree. Um, and I know you were so excited to start this series when we heard about this Facebook integration to be able to chat with each other. But this is something that you and I and many others have done for years.
Oh yeah.
Back in the Blab days, like this is such a different experience than what we had before, where you just press a button and talk, which I did, 4 times today when my tire popped and I was between races and stuff. But this is so awesome and so wonderful, and I'm so grateful again, Bree, to not only be Amazing Human #1, but be Amazing Human Facebook Live interview #1.
Yes,
This is
well,
a really
thank
special
you.
opportunity.
And I mean, honestly, who better to have this first like interview with than you? Because you are known for all your live streaming and Facebook lives lately and this kind of thing. So I thought you definitely were a good fit for this first
Thank you,
interview.
Bree. I appreciate it so much. I really, really do.
talk about your book a little bit, because there's probably a few people who will see this
Yeah.
that don't have your book, and tell them how they get it and what it's about. And
So first things first, I got to mail you a book. I feel really bad because everything that I've been posting is like, I'll mail this to the USA. And Bree was like, what the hell? So let me do that tomorrow. I will mail you a book. It doesn't matter what it costs. I think it's only 12 or 13 bucks. I actually shipped one to Honduras yesterday.
oh
Uh,
wow,
so I'm sure if we can send a spaceship to Jupiter or whatever, I can send a book across the country lines. But the
you
book
go.
is the book which Bree has read is it's a state by state look at this trip. You know, that started in South Carolina on May 15th, or I'm sorry, May 15th. Sorry, I'm hungry. 2015 ended August 21st, 2015. So it was actually 99 days. And I volunteered with a different youth organization in every state. And I used social media to tell the stories of each nonprofit. So I used live video. This is before the days of Facebook Live. So it was on something called Meerkat and then a little bit of Periscope. And I also used Snapchat, which was, of course, before Instagram stories and all these other 7 iterations that we have now. And, you know, I could talk about it from a number of different ways, but I think what made it so uh, interesting on a grand scale was that it was the same idea over and over and over again. You know, that it wasn't just an amorphous sort of like trip. It was very much planned out and it was very much all scheduled and you knew what to expect as you were watching it. And now, because we saved everything, if you go back and you want to watch one of the interviews from, you know, Ohio or Texas or wherever you are, you can go back and watch the Snapchat interview. You can go back and watch the YouTube interview, and you can learn more about any of the organizations that are featured in the book. So, you know, it's my story, Bree, but it's the story of all of these organizations, and I know that the stories stick with people when they. I mean, you remember? I mean, I could ask Bree about Abby,
Yeah,
and she could tell me all about it, you know.
yeah.
And
Abby was my favorite story for sure.
this is a little girl in Wyoming, you know, who is now featured in a book that we're talking about, and people are watching and hearing Abby's story, you know, from around the world. You know, that there's almost 20 people watching right now, which is amazing. And there's going to be so many more people watching this after the fact. And like I
Yep.
said before, this is exactly what I'm hoping to do is drive and provoke conversation about organizations like Big Brothers Big Sisters, like Girls on the Run, like the YMCA, and also make sure that I don't let Bree get a word in edgewise because I'm a terrible interview and I just keep
No,
talking.
I appreciate it because I like listening. I'm a listener. There are some good questions though coming in from other people. So Lori asked, did you arrange those partnerships on all on your own? Like so
Yeah.
everyone, yeah, you did. You contacted every single person that you went and
Yeah.
volunteered for.
It's funny, our boy Joe Wilson, and I'm so glad to see you're wearing the shirt. If I had another 60 seconds, I would have put my "We Are All Famous to a Few People" shirt on. Also, I have it in my bag here. Um, but what was I going to say? Joe Wilson has been trying to encourage me to tell more of the how it happened. You know, how do you plan something out like this, and how did it come
Yeah.
together? I really had so I had a Google sheet where I listed all the states that I was going to and the dates, and then I just sort of filled in the blanks. And some of them were really easy, you know, that I actually contacted the Convention and Visitors Bureau in every city and said, hey, do you know a great organization that would love an opportunity like this to tell their story? And I would say about 75% of the cities got back to me. And by the way, I go like this on my snaps all the time too, so sorry about that. Someone yelled at me yesterday. But about 75% of the cities got back to me and said, oh yeah, you know, you should go see like True Colors in Hartford. And then in the other communities where they didn't get back to me, I just reached out and called and emailed and said, hey, my name's Chris, this is what I'm doing, and would you be interested? And I think the fact that I'm still telling these stories, you know, of Opportunity Village, of, you know, certain Big Brothers Big Sisters of America chapters, you know, of the Malavea Washington Youth Foundation, it's a testament to them. And it's the lesson learned there is take a chance and reach out. And if some random dude traveling around the country doing something like this or whatever, if there's an opportunity for your organization to gain exposure, take it. You know, because
Mhm.
there are plenty of organizations that could have been featured in the book that aren't because I didn't have a chance to get there. So I'm so great, and that's why I'm so grateful, Bree. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep. I am the absolute worst, but I am so grateful to all of the organizations that opened their doors to me. Youth on Their Own in Tucson, all of them,
All
every
of them,
single
yeah.
one. To be able to say, yeah, you know, come on in. You can spend half a day with us. A lot of the times with the executive director. In Las Vegas, I spoke with the CEO who had been there for like 40 years of Opportunity Village. And so I'm so grateful, not just to everyone who reads the book and everyone who cares about the stories, but to the organizations themselves for going out of their way to open their doors to me. Just a scraggly, bearded, long-haired kid in a t-shirt and shorts. I mean, who am I?
Not to
You know,
mention, like, getting them to talk on Snapchat or Periscope or Meerkat could not have been that easy, because now it's a little bit more mainstream. But when you were doing all of that, they're probably like, what are you putting me on? Like, where am I going on
yeah,
the internet?
there was some hesitation, some trepidation, but I can tell again with meeting with so there were 60 different organizations during the trip because in some places I met with two, and then the last day I met with six. So 60 different organizations, and some of them just didn't understand Snapchat at all, and that's fine and to be expected. But some of them loved it. Some of them, this was the coolest thing they've ever seen. And I like telling the story of Freewheeling Community Bikes in Indianapolis, where I was showing the executive director, her name was Jen, what Meerkat was, this live streaming app. And she went from having no idea what it was at all to 15 minutes later she was like, hey, can I take your phone and give a walking tour of the our shed, and of all of our stuff. And I was just like, okay, so what do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah,
you want me to just sit here and wait for you to come back?
that's awesome.
And she did a phenomenal job. And so that's why um, I love the idea of trying to open, organizations' eyes to these technologies because just like anything else, not all of them are going to get it, but for some of them, live streaming is going to be the best thing ever. It's going to be something that's going to change the way they raise money, the way
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they communicate with their kids and their volunteers. And the hand again, drink when Chris goes like this. I got you, Danica. You know, but it really live streaming, we don't need to turn this into a conversation about live streaming because there's a million of those all the time. But it's just such an exciting way to communicate with people in mass and really share I mean, look at what we're doing right now.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like look at all these amazing people. You could write an entire Amazing Human series just on the people that are commenting here, like Bonnie and Joanne,
Yeah.
Blake and Danica, like, and we're able to draw their attention and to deliver messages to them in ways that a year ago would have never been possible.
Well, yeah, it's just like me. Well, the entire Amazing Human series so far, apart from one person, are all people that I've met online. So I don't actually know most of you in real life, but I know so much about every single one of you based on what I've learned from live streaming or Facebook or Snapchat or whatever it may be. Like, and I've never actually met you in real life, but I know enough about you to write a blog article and want to interview you and talk about the things you guys are doing because you are amazing in my eyes. And
I
without
mean,
any of this, that wouldn't really be possible. I'd have to go out and meet people I don't know, on the street, which I probably would never do.
I never thought this would have been possible, right? That when we go to high school, we're surrounded by all the people that were born in the area, right?
Mhm.
Like okay, the person who lives next to me, no matter who they are, what they're interested in, that whatever, that's who you're going to be friends with because they live next door. And then you go to college, and it's a bunch of people who have similar interests, and you're in the same class with them, and that's pretty cool. But then we enter this internet era and this live streaming era where this group of people, and not just the 18 people that are watching right now, but these tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, we all share this intense interest, and we're all able to network with each other and look at each other in the Brian Fanzoism, so you drink when Chris does one of those too. Look each other in the digital eyeballs,
Mhm.
and I absolutely feel like Bree is one of my best friends. You know what I mean? And I can say that about so many people
Yeah.
that I haven't, and also a lot of people that I have been lucky to meet too. You know, and I talk about this too, that I've been really lucky to be able to travel around. You know, I spent a couple days with Pinky earlier this week. I've hung out with Chris Gillentine down in Baton Rouge. You know, and I've gotten to go to some of these conferences and meet someone like Brian Fanzo and Jeff Goldberg. And I could sit here all day and just ring off, you know, oops, I dropped that name. But all of these people, and I guarantee you, Bree is going to be the exact, and there's Brian Fanzo right now. Brian Fanzo is watching this live stream right now. I think he heard me
He
say
heard his
his name.
name. Yeah.
He's got like a Google alert that works on every
Yeah.
live stream ever.
Someone said my
But
name.
that's what I'm saying, Bree, is every single one of these people that I've met, every single one, when you meet them in real life, they're exactly like you expect them to be and better. And I know that one day, maybe next time I go up to upstate New York, I'll actually remember my passport so I can come up and actually visit Bree, which we were talking about that earlier this week. I would have gone to Canada if I had my passport with me this week, but
we'll figure it out.
It's the point is, everyone is as wonderful as you think they are, and then some. When you're able to connect through live streaming. You see Brian's comment?
Yeah. His phone would. I love, this community of people, and that's like, I love all of you. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about struggles, because obviously I am huge in the mental health world, and I like to talk about how we sometimes put unrealistic expectations on ourselves and on each other. So talk about that for a minute. Like, what you've obviously had your fair share of struggles. So how do you get through them, and what do you do to keep yourself up?
There's struggles of all different kinds, you know, and I think the one thing you realize too, and I know Danica and Katie Miller and some of these guys have talked about this extensively on Snapchat also, is that you never really can understand the extent of someone else's struggles. You know, that we think that we know everything there is to know about everyone because we can see their Instagram story or we see them do a Facebook Live. And there's a lot going on in people's heads, including mine and including Bree's and including every single person who's in the comments right now, you know, and I'm just grateful for friends like Bree who go out of their way to reach out and go above and beyond to go deeper in those conversations, and who are always there, you know, to listen and to help and to develop a deeper understanding of who their friends are, you know, and sometimes that can be at the cost of, you know, quantity. Does that make sense? You know, that people are like, oh, well, 5 people watch this or 8 people watch that, and that doesn't matter at all. You know what I mean? What matters is developing friendships and getting to know people. And I can't tell you how many people, you know, I've had these deep, intimate conversations with across all different platforms too. That's the other thing, right? Is people are like, oh, well, I can't talk to someone on Instagram or Snapchat. Yes, you can. It's all the same. It's all the same. I don't care if I find Bree on Periscope or Peach or wherever. She's Bree, right? And I'm Chris Strub. And I think that's one thing. And I talked about this on Snapchat yesterday or 2 days ago too, in giving tips for college students, is that so many people are trying to put up this false front, and they're trying to pretend to be like someone they're not. And the one thing that I think I love the most about Bree is that she truly embodies just being herself at all times. You know, that
you're the amazing human, so you do the same thing.
No. You're the amazing human. Remember, you tweeted that I was amazing human #1, and I said, well, you are amazing human #0. You got to go first on that list. And I'm so proud of you for putting this list together and for kicking off this interview series despite me dragging my feet. Other people will tell you the same thing. Ask Ms. Meliz how long it took me to nail me down for an interview. And I apologize for that. But you are wonderful. And as Brian Fanzo saying in the comments too, like, you brighten so many people's lives, and you know, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad to call you a friend. That you have made such a positive impact on me in so many different ways, and I hope I speak for everyone watching. You know that you know, we all mean that. So please always just keep being you. That was the most impactful piece of advice that was the most impactful piece of advice that I've ever gotten, and that
Thank
was
you.
actually from Brian
Friend
Fanzo. So
Enzo.
Frank, um, that was
It's
2
true.
years ago on New Year's Eve. He sent me a Snapchat that said, Chris, it's great all this work that you're doing, but just what I appreciate the most is you just be yourself. And now he's got a damn course named after it, so um,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think
it's
that's
it,
super
it's
important.
so true. It's so true.
You're gonna get found out anyway. I feel like you can fake it for so long, but eventually someone's gonna figure it out that you're completely full of crap.
Yeah,
So it's kind of a waste of time at the end of the day. It could take years, but then what? Now you're at square one because you've been faking it for however long.
yeah.
So
No, it's sad to see how that deterioration is going to happen for some people, and I feel bad. But all we can do is just keep reminding everyone, just be yourself, just be who you are, and be kind. And as Joel Campbell said, be good to people. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just be nice.
just be
You know,
nice.
I, I'm channeling my inner Chris Hardwick. Like, be good to
Exactly.
people, damn it. Like that's really all it is in life, is when people want to talk to you, talk to them.
Yep.
Or if someone has a question for you, answer it. Like that's really all it comes down to.
It's true. Sorry. You just have to, yeah.
Yes,
I
as
think, well, everyone in here, you guys are all amazing. I love you all. It's too much.
as
Yeah,
as Adam just said, don't be a dick.
don't be a dick. Yeah,
So there you
just
go.
be nice to people. It's so much easier to be nice to people. Fake
Yeah,
it till you
no,
make it beyond 2017. Fake it and you'll be found, ignore it, and become digitally exhaust. Yep, digital exhaust. That's it.
and it's disappointing to see, like we were saying, people trying to put up a false front, or even trying to be someone different across different platforms. I'm tired of seeing that, like, oh, you weren't like this on that platform, and now here, like,
It leads to,
screw platforms, like
yeah, who cares? Like, I feel like you should just be yourself no matter what. But I feel like it leads to a bigger problem though, because so many people are faking and they're making it out like life is amazing and being an entrepreneur is so easy and things are
it,
simple and sunshine and roses, and it literally is not for anyone. So for anyone who's truthful and really does tell their story, you realize the struggles that they've gone through. But then
it
there's so much of the opposite of that people are struggling and they think that they're the only ones struggling, which doesn't lead to, like, they don't, I don't know what words I'm trying to say here, but they don't like feel confident in themselves, and then it just snowballs and gets worse and worse rather than better. When if people would just tell their stories more often, then we'd have less of that snowballing into a hot mess. Like, people are taking their lives or getting completely depressed and down and quitting their passions and their dreams based on falseness of other people.
we're all struggling. There's not anyone in here who's not struggling in some way.
Totally.
We. I love Joe's expression. We are all famous to a few people, and I think about it every single day, that you can replace the word famous with any other word, any other adjective, and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I ran a half marathon today, and I ran it in 1:42, and to me that wasn't that fast. And when I crossed the finish line, I threw my hat down and I was like, oh God, I went so slow, blah, 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 blah. And then I turned around and looked, and there's 1,000 people crossing the line behind me.
Yeah.
And there's people and then I'm like, wait a second, there's people that can't walk. There's people that can't move. What am I doing being disappointed about being able to get up and run? So we are all famous to a few people, like we are all fast to a few people. We are all attractive to a few people. We are all rich to a few people. Like,
True.
whatever adjective you want to put in there, you just got to stay grounded. And when you just be yourself, those true colors will always shine through, and you'll be able to connect with people in ways that you never have done before. And what the point I wanted to make a second ago off of what you were saying was, I was struggling during the trip, of course, and I've been struggling my whole life in many different ways. But the real difference now is that I'm not afraid to talk about and to open up about some of those struggles, right? Like, sorry, and down, I'm the worst. But when you're willing to open up and have conversations about the things that are eating at you or that are bothering you, it really you don't realize how supportive and how magnificent your fans are, your friends are, your community is until you demonstrate some of that weakness. And if you're putting up that front that you're 100% strong all the time, you're when you put down your phone or you lay down and you close your eyes, it's going to eat at you, and it's just going to keep eating and eating and eating. Even as he was drinking crappy beer. Well, I still drink crappy beer, Brian, but it's we'll see how much crappy beer I have to drink here because I'm stuck here in Scranton. But
it's beautiful though.
Beautiful. That's the Chris Strubism, right? Beautiful Horsham, Pennsylvania. Every community is beautiful. I learned that from Mick Foley, the professional wrestler. But hey, it is beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, look, it is actually gorgeous out here. This hotel is actually a lot nicer than I expected for the price. But
I was gonna say something. No, I forget what it was. Yeah. Well, and sometimes telling your struggles, which like you live stream a lot, and like you just had a flat tire today. Like it's so real life. And when you put a video out like that, and you're gonna look back in a month or whatever, and you're gonna be like, that's actually hilarious. So at the time, it may suck, but putting things out there too, like when you say to people that you're feeling such and such way, they come back and they're saying that they're feeling it too, or even sometimes it's worse. So then you don't feel so bad about whatever issue you're facing, because sometimes these problems seem really big until you talk about it, and then they seem a lot smaller. So,
okay. I mean, I'm gonna take the ball and run with it. Then here we go, Bree. There are a number of things that I'm struggling with right now, and I wasn't going to do this interview. I almost canceled this interview tonight.
I know.
Because I found out yesterday that our dog, Sherry, has liver cancer and has maybe a week or two to live. And part of the reason why I'm a little disappointed that I'm not going to be able to get home tonight is that I really was looking forward to seeing not just my family but the dog. So I'm having a tough time with that, and it's rough, no pun intended. But I also know that I know. Sorry, that was bad, but. It's difficult to. It's amazing how when you open up about things and you talk about things, and I know my dad posted something on Facebook about it. But it's rough, and and I struggle with other things too. People see like you have a book, and people are like, "Oh my God, this guy's rich or whatever." Like, no, I'm not. Like I've sold 100 copies of it, maybe a little bit more than that, and. Do I wish there were a couple more zeros behind that? Of course, but I know that I'm working towards that. And the other really big thing that eats at me every single day that I don't talk about enough too is that I hate being single. I just hate it. I'm getting older. My family hates that I'm still single. I've failed with every girl I've ever tried to talk to, and I've tried every single way there is in the world, every single methodology, and it's just tough. So these are like real life things that bother me, that I worry about long term, short term, and it's just no one is perfect, and everyone has their struggles, and I know I try and put on a happy face because I know that a lot of people reach out to me and say, Chris, thank you for continuing to be you. I know I don't snap for a day. I get snaps from people saying, where are you? You know what I mean? Or if I don't snap the NutriBullet on a day, they're like, well, where's the NutriBullet? Like what happened? So when you start to look at the fact that what you do on social media is sometimes bigger than yourself, you also start to realize that these people that really rely on you in ways that you don't realize also want to help you in ways that you don't realize. You know, that
Totally.
those people that have watched me NutriBullet snap for a year and a half, those are the same people that if I come out and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, those are the people that want to help. And that can be personal stuff, that can be business stuff, that can be I have a flat tire and 15 minutes after I went live that I had a flat tire, someone and I'll keep that person private because I don't know if he or she wants to be outed, sent me some money to go get a tire.
Wow.
That I'm like, I'm stranded on the side of the road. I don't know if I'm going to get hit because I'm on the on-ramp. And someone who I've never met in real life sent me some to go get a tire.
Amazing.
What?
Like what? Yeah.
Because of this thing, because of the thing in my hand, because of the internet,
I know.
So
we're going to start a hashtag called hashtag Get Strub a Girlfriend in all 50 states.
Oh God. I'm ready to give up, Bree. It's
Maybe
over. One of my friends
is
actually
watching this video right now. You never know. So don't give up.
So Joel Comm just interviewed Chris Guillebeau, who's the first guy to travel to all, whatever it is, 482 countries in the world. Chris Guillebeau wrote an article about me a couple years ago, which was awesome. And the person who wrote it, her name was Alicia. And when Alicia heard, by the way, drink. When Alicia heard my story, she was like, oh my God, and we became good friends because Alicia actually did this thing called 50 States, 50 Dates, which if you guys want to look this up after this video is over, she went on a date with a different guy in all 50 states.
Maybe
and
they actually
well, I don't know that I would go on dates with 50 different guys. That probably wouldn't work out for me.
No, that's probably not going to help you. Well, maybe, actually. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you never know. At some point you start getting older. But no, it's amazing how when you put yourself out there, the point is when you put yourself out there and you share your story, you never know who you're going to come across and you never know who you're going to reach.
Yeah.
So Brian. Brian says I'm pretty enough. There's a book idea. I think it actually is a book, Jeff. And that's Alicia is funny. 10 times the writer that I am. So her name is Alicia Astorello, and she wrote. I think they were doing a movie about it too.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's actually amazing. Well, I think, I mean, and you'll figure it out.
Probably. I mean, I hope so. I hope so for my mom's sake. That's for sure.
Aw, poor Mama Strub.
Katie said she's dancing in her kitchen watching us. How cool is that?
She's so cute.
Isn't she the best?
Katie is the best. That's why she was Amazing Human number 10.
Number 10. I can't wait to watch that interview. These interviews are going to be so much fun because Brie, you are so bubbly, so energetic, so awesome. I can't wait to tune in. Like this is so cool. And look at all these people watching and commenting too. Like it's great.
I know. But it's because I have great people like you. So you guys make it. Obviously, like I wouldn't have a blog and this would not be happening without people like you. So
who are the other amazing humans? You gotta plug the rest of the series here.
Oh, on the rest of the list?
Yeah, you gotta plug your. You got to keep this audience coming back because this is fun.
That I haven't written about yet. Kind of like the intrigue of it. So no, not telling you.
Who's amazing human? Who's number 2?
Oh God, who was number 2? I have them written down somewhere. I don't remember.
Yes, so this.
I'd have to look it up. I actually can't remember.
This series that Brie wrote is just fantastic. So if you don't follow her on Medium, make sure you do that. You can just go back and read the whole series tonight. But Brie is such a special person, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. You see, my natural light is starting to die here.
It's dimming, so yes.
We're turning the lights down here in the lounge.
Tomorrow's Amazing Human, though, the blog post is someone that you know very well. So that one will be fun. That'll be a good interview. Any guesses?
I mean, I would guess, but this is a situation where you don't want to guess wrong. Jeez, Thanks, Brian. Oh my God. Brian's just jealous that he's not a Cubs fan.
Uh,
I, I think I know. I think I probably know who you're talking about, Bree.
mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to guess because if I guess wrong, that would be embarrassing.
All right.
So people in the comments want to guess.
You'll just have to
That's
wait.
cool.
You'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so who is Amazing Human number 2? Because that'll be the next interview. We gotta figure this out. Hold the room for a minute, Chris.
Hold the room. I think Bree just froze on me. I think. Brian, I can't say thank you enough, my man. So I'm heading back this week, and I'm going to finish up the Be Yourself course, which has just been awesome so far. And if you guys watching haven't checked that out, I mean, my number one inspiration online is Brian Fanzo. So if my endorsement means anything to you, go check out Brian's course and do that because it's.
I don't know how I forgot this, but Sandra Centurino was human number 2.
Oh, of course it's Sandra Centurino.
Yeah.
I don't. Does she like to talk?
Oh,
Would she talk?
she's kind of quiet. I don't know.
She's a little shy, right?
You gotta like pull it out of her, you know. Like she's hard. She's a tough one.
Did you see? So I might see Sandra again on Wednesday. It's still up in the air as to whether or not.
Oh yeah. Wait.
As to whether or not.
Tell them how they can buy your book.
There's a couple different ways. The best way, the preferred way, would be to PayPal. If you live in the U.S., $25 to Chris Strub, just my name, at gmail.com, and I will personally send you an autographed copy and probably snap and tweet and Facebook Live about it also, which is fun. Or if you have Amazon Prime or something, you want to save a couple bucks on shipping, go to teamstrub.com and you can click to get either the book and or the ebook. Bree, I think I actually like the ebook even better than the actual book because you could click and watch the interviews. You know,
Yeah.
like it's cool to have a book in your hand, and I made it because a lot of people asked for it. But if you get the ebook, you're really not missing out because one, the photos are in color, and two, you can click and you can watch those interviews right from each individual chapter. So if there's one that's of interest to you, you can click and watch the Snapchat interview, and then if you're like, oh man, you know, like this is a really interesting organization, or like, oh man, that guy that Chris interviewed was really hot. I want to watch more of that. You know, like you can just click right through to the YouTube channel and you can watch it from there. So yeah, and Joanne says,
I was just gonna say the same thing. I say everyone just gets both. I love having like a physical book, but it is easier with the ebook because you can click. But I don't like reading like that either, so get both.
And it's a pretty readable book, right? You read it pretty quick, right?
Yeah, like less than 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would consider it a page turner because you want to know, you know, not just where Chris is going next, but you know who he's going to interview, and you know, so it's not the sort of thing that you pick it up and you're like, oh yeah, I'm 7 chapters in, and but I did, and look who's here now. It's Sandra Centurino, of course.
Heard her name.
Yeah, she got the Fanzo alert.
Talking about me.
But yes, someone probably tagged Sandra. What was I going to say? It's a great book, but as I tweeted earlier this afternoon, don't read it expecting him to get the girl at the end because that doesn't happen.
It's not a romantic love story. Sorry, guys.
It kind of ends sort of anticlimactically. It just sort of like oh, like that's the end of it.
I know.
You
You're
know?
like, no, it can't be over.
Yeah. I was like, what happens next? And it's funny, I'm still kind of asking, you know, what happens next, you know, and I think part of my problem lately is I'm relying on other people to put me in a position to do more stuff. And I'm starting to realize that I should take some of my own advice and just sort of go do some stuff, you know, that it's a shame knowing that, you know, because it's written kind of like a bucket list kind of book. And even my grandma is like, oh, this is the sort of thing that, you know, a lot of people never get a chance to do in their lives. And I'm like,
True.
I hope I have a lot more like life to go. You know, like I would love to go do more.
You started out really strong, so you gotta just keep going with that momentum.
I'd love to if I could put gas in my car and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, I totally get it.
it's that simple. Like, you sell some books, you know, if I could mail out 12 books a day, I could just go on my own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not rocket science. I just wish that, you know, you still kind of just wish for that big break, you know, like you wait for that one famous person to retweet you or whatever. And it's funny, I'm going to call on all of you guys because in 2 weeks, I'm going to a social media conference and Shonduras is the keynote speaker.
Mm.
So if I can get a Snapchat shout out from Shonduras about the book, I think that would be helpful because Shonduras is friggin' he's like the Michael Jordan of Snapchat. So
True, yeah.
that would be a good thing. That
That
would be
would
a
be a
good
very
thing.
good thing. So we should all tweet him and tell him to meet you and hang out with you.
Fingers crossed. It's funny. They asked me to do a roundtable on Snapchat at that conference, and I'm like, you know, Shonduras is going to be there, right. Like, you're asking me, you know, and you have Shonduras. Like, okay, I'm happy to do it, you know, but
You're just that amazing too, though. We're all famous to a few people.
yes, for sure. I should stop. I can hear Joe Wilson yelling at me saying, stop
Yeah,
putting people
for
on it.
sure.
But he is, and you know, he was on ChatSnap too, and I'm sure you remember that he was very, very accessible and answered everyone's questions and stuff. And that's the sort of thing that you know makes people more amazing. You know, is when you reach out and ask them, you know, to be part of a community and help out and everything. You know, he was very quick to say yes, and I thought he did a great job. So
I feel like he's always
again,
been like that too. Like even like he always makes time. That's the thing. Like that is a landmark for me as far as these amazing humans go. Like people who just tweet you back. Like it could be the smallest thing for me, but I just feel like those very small actions make a huge impact from a guy who is way too busy, I think, to be to have time to do that, but they still do. Like that's amazing.
yeah, you know, and I think you're exactly right. And I think when we talk about we are all famous to a few people, we might not think that like, and Bree and I tweet all the time, right? That Bree will write back to a tweet and blah 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 blah. Um, to to Bree, that might not be a huge deal. Like, oh, I replied to a tweet, whatever. But to someone to whom she's replying, especially if it's a stranger, someone who doesn't know who she is or whatever, that can be a moment that changes their life. You know what I mean? Like I do this thing called Twitter Video Reply Tuesday, where you know when people tweet to me on Tuesdays, I try and reply with a video, and people are like, "What? What is this? What just happened?" And I'm like, "I'm just talking to you. This isn't that big a deal. Like you
Mm-hmm.
asked me something, and I said hello back, you know." But the value of what you do, the value of what you put out there, and that's yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
drink Danica. But the value of something like this, you know, my big hope is that someday I won't know individually every person that reads the book. You know, I'm waiting for that first 2-star review that's like Jimmy in Wisconsin says this book was kind of boring. You know, that you need to get your story out there to people that don't necessarily know you personally. Um, but I know that a lot of people out there have putting my hand down on this table and I'm not moving it. I know that a lot of people out there have seen the videos and have watched, you know, some of the snaps, and they'll never say anything,
True.
but you know that you still made an impact to them. And I know that the work that you do every day, Bree, is the same way, right? That there are people that will never reply to your Instagram story or never reply to your Snapchat story, but they still rely. You know, they won't reply, but they'll rely. I like that.
Oh, there you go. It's
There's
good.
my my J Bear tweetable, right? That they're still looking for you and they're still depending on you to brighten up their day, even if they're not saying something. And
True.
by me and Bree and others, you know, some of these amazing humans that you'll see in this series, reaching out. I think one thing we all share is we all hope to inspire others, you know, to reach out as well. You know, Sandra Centorino with her cards, right? There are a lot of people out there that have been impacted by Say It Forward, but most people won't say something about it, you know. But if we can
Never.
ratchet up that percentage of people that do say something about it, then we're going to continue to increase the people that aren't vocal about it also,
Yep.
you know.
Totally.
So
Very true. Very, very true. That's a good point. And I think that's something we forget too. I definitely forget it all the time. Like, though you can see like the views or whatever, but they never say anything and you never get engagement per se. And like, you hinge on that, you're kind of like, well, but my engagement sucks. But then if you're not there, sometimes they do reach out and are like, I miss you. And you're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny. Sometimes, you know, you can go on your Snapchat story and be like, guys, like, here's a question for you, or like, swipe up to reply, and whatever you do to try and encourage people to communicate and to engage. You know, sometimes you do get that person that'll write back and say, dude, I watch your stories every single day. You know, I had someone, and I'll tell you another quick story from the book, right? I had someone from South Dakota snap me back a few weeks ago, and I'm like, what, how the hell did you know, first of all, who are you, and where did you, you know, how did you find me or whatever? She's like, yeah, I'm the manager of the fast food place you ate at when you were leaving Rapid City. And you gave me your business card, you know, when you paid your check when you were leaving, and I followed you that day, and I've watched every single day since.
Wow.
What?
Wait,
You know, like, first of all, why didn't you say hi earlier? But like, wow, you know that you never know when an interaction is going to really mean something to someone. You know, so that's why we say
True.
always be good to people. You know, that if you're a dick to somebody at some point, you know, that can define you forever. You know what I mean? Because you never know when someone is going to start writing the awful human series. They're going to be like, oh, you know, Chris Strub didn't hold the door for me at Burger King, you know, 6 months ago. And, you know, I saw him get back in the car. You know, like, people are always watching. They're always listening. And especially when you have your name plastered on the back of your car,
Yeah.
you know, you're accountable for your actions 24/7. You know, and the truest mark of a person, and this is an old saying, is who you are when no one's around. You know, like, and that's, you know, I don't mean to keep kissing up to Bree, but I do, because all that you see from Bree and everything that she does publicly on Instagram, you know, in the closet and everything, and on Facebook Live or whatever, she is even sweeter when you strike up a conversation with her. You know, in the grays, as we would say, right? Like, you send a DM, and if I was ever really struggling, if I ever needed help, Bree would be one of the first people that I would call. You know what I mean? And that's someone that I've never met before. I don't know that we've ever been in the same country together.
True.
So just being good to people, and you know, as I talked about in the blog post that I keep retweeting every 6 hours because I'm annoying as hell on Twitter, you know, being vocal about it, and screenshotting and tweeting to people and saying, like, thank you, I appreciate it. Like, it's not rocket science. You know, just, one, be good to people. Two, don't be shy to, you know, offer your appreciation about it publicly.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
that will get you everywhere. It will get you everywhere. I mean, look, it's getting me to Atlanta. It's getting me to Vegas. It's getting me to San Diego. Like, what more do you want to see? You know, that I got all these speaking engagements this summer by being good to people. You know, I'm not Sean Duras. I'm not Pinky. I'm not Sean Ayala. I'm just me. And that's all I can try to be.
That's perfect. Well, thank you. I appreciate you every day. So thank you for that.
You're the best.
You're the best. Oops.
Whoa.
Whoa, I know.
Can I do that too?
I don't know why that's happening. There you go.
Lighting. I've learned so much about lighting in the last couple of years. I blame Sonny Lenarduzzi for all this.
Oh dear.
But
I can't get it to go away.
Thank you, Claudia, and thank you to everyone who's commented, and we haven't replied to every comment through the course of the video.
Oops.
But really appreciate you, Rose. Appreciate you, Claudia, Sarah. Sarah's so awesome. Josh.
We love all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I think this was a pretty successful first
Thank you, Andrea.
interview.
Yeah, how did we do? Let us know.
Yeah.
How How did Bree do? Because I've been in the interview chair 700 times. Everyone knows knows my spiel, right? Oh, Chris, talk about why you went on the trip. Well, I should just like
Yeah,
play
but
it on a record.
there's people who will see this that aren't normal
Yeah,
people. So
that are normal people.
they're not normal people. You know what I mean?
They're normal. They're
You're
normal people.
normal, but you're not social media people, is what I meant to say.
Right.
A lot of the same will see this, but then a lot of not will see this as well.
Absolutely. We are all normal to a few people.
We are all normal. Nobody's normal. If you know me or like me, then you're probably not normal. Sorry to break it to you.
Yeah, we are all abnormal to a few people.
All right.
Katie, so much. I can't wait to see you interview Sandra. This is gonna.
Me too. I gotta quit touching the screen.
I'm gonna keep doing that with my Louie. But thank you so much for having me. I'm so sorry this took me forever to get back to you and to make this actually happen.
I think it was perfect. I had a rough April, so I think the timing of this was good. Much better spirits right now. So thank you. Thank you for being the first guest and then being an amazing human. Keep doing that. Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Call me, text me anytime you need me. Talk to you later.
Bye.